Hi again, everybody. Bill Phillips here. It's the 9-Minute Phill-Up. It is sponsored by Valley Converting. Don, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
Hello.
Happy day before football weekend.
Halloween.
It is Halloween.
Yeah. Want to remind everybody, I'm going to do this.
Are you going as Bill Phillips this year?
Yeah, I'm the candy giver outer, so that's how I go as Bill Phillips. Valley Converting, our sponsor. Of course, Valley Converting in T-Town, the gem city of Toronto, Ohio. Before we get started, let's hear from the people at Valley Converting.
Every piece of paper has a story. What if that story didn't end when you were done with it?
At Valley Converting, we turn your old paper products into recycled paperboard, continuing the story.
Locally owned and operated in Toronto, Ohio, bringing your paper to Valley Converting isn't just about recycling.
It's about supporting a cleaner, greener future for all of us.
We are here 5 days a week to help you make some green by going green.
And remember,
recycle for your future.
Absolutely. And if you're going to recycle paper products, take them to Valley Converting in Toronto, Ohio, and just ask for Mike. He'll take care of you. You'll be all set. Now, taking care of everything, let's go. We've got the description is a big sports weekend.
Well, Halloween first, though. Have you sampled your candy yet?
Not yet. The bags are not allowed to be open until because if they get open, they'll be in trouble.
I'll be honest. I hit some of it last week. It was there, so we don't have many mounds or Snickers left.
Yeah.
Last night and this morning, their little boxes are called
Milk Duds?
Dots.
Oh, dots.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, those are addictive. You're
gonna have to go out and get more candy today.
So I had some Dots and Mounds and the Snickers, and you got to sample. You got to make sure what you're handing out is fresh. It's high quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the little they look like they're in the little wrappers, different multicolored wrappers. No, not the Smarties.
Starburst?
Well, they were like Tootsie Rolls, but these are like Tootsie Rolls, but they're all different colors.
Different flavors. Yeah, that was good. Seriously, do you have any candy left?
No, there is. Now, remember this. So when I know you said your best ever Halloween get up was the Albies Big Boy.
Yeah,
which is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Mine go with I was Sonny and Cher with my wife.
Yeah.
And then I
got you, babe.
The professor for Gilligan's Island. Those are team things.
Yeah.
But I leave you with this as far as Halloween.
Okay.
Dress, if you are dressing to hand out.
Yes.
Dress in a fun way for the kids. My wife one year sat at the bottom of her driveway and she had me set this chair there and she dressed up like a witch. And I don't mean a friendly witch. I mean, it was the black pointed hat, black to a T. And she just sat there with her arms folded. The first group of about 10 kids came up and she just went like this. And oh my God, they screamed and ran like mice. Because I think they just thought it was some props sitting there. And there she went. I'm like, oh my goodness. So my advice, when you hand out candy, don't scare the kids.
Yes. And advice for parents that have kids or kids that are watching. Thank you and please. You could get some extra candy, or at least they trick or treat. We've got to the point now where kids just come up with the bag out. I'm like, and trick or treat. Well, okay. Here's a question,
and dress brightly too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And this was years ago. Times have changed. My favorite, if there was ever a place they'd have something great, so you'd hit it twice. Yeah. There was one lady, she owned a store. It was Thorhauer, Mrs. Thorhauer. She had a store, and she gave out baseball cards.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm telling you, packs of baseball cards. That was awesome.
A couple times, yeah.
Oh, so I double dipped.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. All right. Last question for Halloween. As a kid, your favorite costume or one that you tend to wear all that. Now, in my house, it seemed like I was a ghost one year and then a football player the next, and then I was a ghost the next year and then a football player. But the thing that was fun with the football player thing, the eye black. Yeah. Because my dad was like, "Oh, you got to have eye black if you're gonna be a football player." And I'm like, "Where are we getting eye black from? We don't have eye black." I couldn't even think of where he would take a charcoal briquette, Kingsford, and he would literally draw it onto our face, and we'd look in the mirror. Oh, yeah, now I'm ready. Now I'm a football player. I was like my favorite thing when he just do the eye black underneath it. Simple things, Don.
All
Simple
right,
things.
here's my best one, and I actually won for this at a parade.
Oh,
these TVs now come like, they're real thin and whatever.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
they were big boxes.
TVs were huge,
Yeah.
and they were big boxes. And there was this box of a TV box, and it was like the outside, it was like a TV. So I literally cut that out, and I was a TV. I had the box of the TV over my head, and I was in there, and I was a TV person in the TV box.
The universe knew this is where you're going to end up.
I won. But back then we didn't have these. I don't have a photo of that.
But think about that.
But that was pretty cool.
When you're a kid, you're dressing up as the anchor person of the TV, and here you end up.
How about that?
Wow, Jordan.
And it was cheap. It was a cardboard box.
Yeah, it's the one that makes mom and dad happy because they don't have to spend any money. What's your best childhood Halloween costume?
I'm going to go all the way back to when I was a baby and my mom dressed me up as a lion.
Oh, okay.
You're not lying, are you?
No, I'm not.
I'll tell you what, we had a story on today. They had some preemie babies. I can't remember what hospital it was, but they dressed, one was a caterpillar, one was a guitar. I mean, they were cuter than cute. So everybody, please enjoy Halloween. Be safe. If you're driving out and about, slow down because there's kids that are not going to be paying attention as much as you think they might be. So just everybody be careful. Have a safe and happy and healthy Halloween.
We best Halloween memories though. Our church had you have the church, then you have the big side building that we would have tureen dinners and stuff in it.
Okay.
We would have a Christmas party every year, or a Christmas Halloween party there every year. And a couple of the main events were the balloon stomp, which was absolutely a blast because all of a sudden you get 25 kids out there with balloons tied to their ankles. Dangerous. I think now the danger level is pretty high, but that was always a symbol of pride if you won the balloon stomp because we had a big prize and everything. We could do that in the newsroom, a balloon stomp, and the bobbing for apples.
Yeah. Well, like Lucy and Snoopy and Charlie Brown. But she's touched dog lips now. She, because they come up with the apple together.
Going with that apple and you get the water up your nose. I was never a fan of it, but I always did it.
But you love the balloon stomp.
Did you
win the balloon stomp ever?
A couple of times.
There you go. He's a champion costume maker and balloon stomper.
And then we had a thing with the chair where you go around sitting on the chair.
Musical
chair thing. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There you go. That's
let's talk sports. All right, we're gonna finish up Major League Baseball season. Didn't see it coming. 4 games to 1.
Who
not
thought
a
that
sweep.
would be over? Yeah.
And then how about this? Last night I stayed up too late. I wanted to watch Garrett Cole pitch. Dominant. Even in the 5th inning when they gave up 5 runs, they're all unearned. He was dominant in the 5th inning, except the double to the outfield. Should have been out of the inning. Gets 2 big strikeouts with the bases loaded. You think he's going to get out of it. Mookie Betts is a ground ball. And I don't know if he just thought Rizzo's going to get it. He's going to scoop it up and run over the bag. And Rizzo was thinking, oh, he's going to come over. I'm going to flip it to him. He doesn't cover. It's one of those things you can't do. And then earlier,
Rizzo kind of laid back on it too.
Yeah. He didn't charge it.
No.
Yeah, and then earlier in the inning, you had Aaron Judge who made an unbelievable crashing catch into the wall. He's looking at the man on first, took his eye off the ball, dropped it. That put runners on first and second. Then the play with the shortstop Volpe, and he throws a short hopper to third, bases loaded, and all of a sudden a 5-0 ball game's tied at 5. And Freddie Freeman, wow, what an easy choice for MVP. He was absolutely sensational. But the Dodgers get it done. Yankees don't get it done. And so there'll be a lot of gnashing of teeth and everything in New York City. But now the Pirates, with the same hopes for the next World Series title as everybody else, Don.
Well, if you're selling free agents, say, look at the pitching staff that we have. If they can get a couple of bats, I know everyone likes to have fun with beating up the Pirates and all this, but you know what? You better get on the bandwagon now. Because next year is going to be awesome.
If you have pitching, you always have a chance. Now you just need some bats. You need some bats. Do you trade for him to free agency? What's the easier way to do it? If you trade for him, you might have to give up one of those pitchers, but
they've got enough. They've got enough to give up. And when you look at the Bubba Chandlers and so forth, but I still like the idea of moving Reynolds to first.
Yeah,
and
save his legs. Yeah. He can play just about any position. He's
spring's eternal.
Absolutely. Once it's a new season, hey, everybody's 0-0. You go to spring training.
But that's the problem. Every year you go into it that they don't have any pitching. They've got
now they got pitching.
Maybe a couple retreads and a guy named Joe, and that's it. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, they're picking up people off the scrap heap for the rotation. Yep. This year they've got the rotation. Now if they can get some position players. All
right, that's baseball. So now Brian checks in. He's going to get us started. Looking forward to Sports Friday on the go. And let's go Monroe Central. Monroe Central wasn't sure if they were going to have a home game or not. They end up getting a home game. And Sports Friday on the go. It's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be an interesting weekend. And I wanted to make sure you were on the show today to kind of explain how it's going to be a little bit different this week because of playoff restrictions and things like that. And so what do we have set up?
Here's what happens. First off, our WTOV9 Friday night rivals game of the week is Brook and Weir High.
Okay.
You want to talk rivals. That's a great rivalry.
Yeah.
You may ask, well, why are they doing a West Virginia game instead of an Ohio game? You cannot live television broadcast Ohio playoff games.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you can't have a live broadcast of an Ohio playoff game. And as far as when it comes to streaming, Spectrum and the NFHS, they've got the rights to all streaming. And if they don't stream a game, we can take it. For instance, one of the games that NFHS will stream through our friends at the K-Night Network will be the Toronto game.
Okay.
But so as far as live game highlights, we've got 3 games that we can show just like normal. And it's the Steubenville Big Red game, the St. Clairsville game, and the Barnesville-Wheelersburg game.
Yeah.
So those will be the 3 games that we have our typical cut live play to live play throughout. And we paid, there's a rights fee for all that. So all 3 of those games, and that's a lot to keep an eye on in the playoffs. So we've got those 3. Also, the Indian Creek game, as they're in Licking Valley, we will do, like if you watch an NFL game on a Sunday, okay, let's check in now at such and such game. They just scored a touchdown. The plays won't be live, but we will be able to bring you highlights of that game
as soon as we can
throughout the game. And we're also attempting to do that possibly with Toronto and Martins Ferry as well. And Edison. What we will do with those games is we will shoot them, and then at halftime we'll edit highlights. And then we'll try to send the highlights back. Now, that's all dependent upon the strength of the Wi-Fi or the hotspot or whatever. But that's our hope. So Barnesville, Big Red, and St. Clairsville live as stuff happens throughout the night. Indian Creek, semi-delayed highlights throughout, and then we'll have hopefully beginning of third quarter we should have some highlights from the Martins Ferry game and Toronto and some others. So and that's where we're at. And then the other games like Monroe Central, Union Local, all of the other playoff games
will be on Sports Friday.
And I would think now with no World Series, Sports Friday should be
back on
Fox live at 10:30. So we've got you covered.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to it. Brian, as you mentioned, he's looking forward to Sports Friday on the go and a big Monroe Central fan. And again, it didn't look like they were going to get a home game. They did. So that's exciting for them. They had a fine season, 9-1. It's an outstanding season any way you look at it. And so we're looking forward, Brian, to bringing that to you. And like you said, Don, the schedule, once the playoff starts, it's the playoffs. It's do or die now. You can't stub your toe.
You can't beat the Ohio playoffs. It's one of the most exciting times of the year. I will say this though, you're, all of a sudden now instead of like a 1 playing an 8, you got a 1 playing a 16. Yeah. So
so they might get out of hand a little bit.
When you look, Big Red's playing 6-4, the Buckeye Valley Barons. All I know about the Barons was that the Baron in some shootout with Snoopy in a plane.
Yeah, he didn't do well. Snoopy came out on top.
He didn't do well. So it is Halloween. So maybe Reno's Snoopy this week, and we've got Snoopy and the Barons. But their best wins Buckeye Valley over a pair of 5-5 teams, Heath and Hamilton Township. Now, St. Clairsville's Battle of the Red Devils, St. Steve 10-0, Marion Franklin in the playoffs, 4-6. Is their record. Now 3 of their 4 wins their last 3 games in a row over teams though with a combined record of 7-23. They did though take 10-0 Division II Walnut Ridge to overtime before losing. So that's a look at those two games.
Again, the one thing for a lot of the coaches that are higher seeds, make sure you guys don't show up and think we're just going to roll the helmets out on the field and we're going to win, because you get surprised, you turn the ball over a few times. But Buckeye Valley, they're going to show up at Harding Stadium and go, oh, I guess where'd we show up?
It's the real deal.
Yeah, this is a big time stadium, big time game. So that's how we're going to be approaching Sports Friday on the go. So yes, sir.
Well, let's talk about one more game.
Okay,
the Wheelersburg-Barnesville game.
That should be a good one.
Now,
that should be a good one.
Here's the thing. This isn't your typical Ohio expanded playoffs first round game. Wheelersburg, they're 6-4. Barnesville is the 3 seed at 10-0. Now, Wheelersburg, they won 4 straight and 6 of 7 after they started 0-3.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's dig a little deeper. Let's go below the crust of the apple pie and go in and check out the apples.
Where the good stuff is.
Wheelersburg losses. 9-1 Ironton.
Yeah.
If you follow Ohio football, you know all about
Ironton's
Ironton.
Good. Yeah.
Then 8-2 Cincy McNicholas. McNicholas is the same team that opened the year at Big Red. So you're saying,
and they gave Big Red a tough game first time.
They sure did. So Wheelersburg has 4 losses. They're at a 9-1 Ironton, 8-2 Cincinnati McNicholas, and 8-2 Jackson. They beat 7-3 Portsmouth 38-6 last week. And Wheelersburg is also the team that knocked Barnesville out of the playoffs last year. These two have a long and rich history of meeting in the playoffs. Now, when Barnesville had a phenomenal team in the early 90s, Wheelersburg is one of the teams that they beat on their way going to the state semifinals.
That was a fun run. I got to do a few of those games play-by-play. It was with Lance Mel. Yeah. He did the games, and he's a Penn Stater. So that leads me to transition.
Little segue.
Yeah, little segue.
All right.
Let's see. Segue on Saturday. If you are looking for big game coverage, and this is as big a game as you're going to find this weekend or most weekends, 9:30, tune in for the Nittany Lions Perspective on Nittany Lion Game Week. I can't remember the exact title.
Let me help out a little bit. The Penn State show?
Yeah.
Nittany Game Week.
Yes. 9:30.
7 a.m. this week.
Oh, no, it's 7 a.m.
It's 7 a.m. because the Fox Big Noon kickoff is at 9.
Oh.
This week.
Got moved to 9. Okay.
I know I sent that out on an email at some point, but yeah. The Big Noon kickoff, if I'm correct, is at 9.
All right.
And the Penn State is at 7.
Okay. So that's where we got the pregame shows handled. Then the kickoff is actually at noon. Ohio State travels to Penn State. It's like a monster movie. It's like Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, it should be a good one. Now, the only problem is for James Franklin, the head coach of the Penn State, he has come out and said, we want to be an elite program. We are not there until we start to beat Ohio State. They haven't beat Ohio State. This is, if there's ever going to be a year, is this the year that they get it done? I don't know. What do you think?
And both teams are happy to be where they're at right now because they both had scares last week. Mm-hmm. Ohio State did not look good. They didn't throw the football enough. They did not look good offensively against Nebraska, and trying to run to the outside on these different plays. They just did not look good. But when push came to shove, they did what they needed to do to win the football game. Same thing. We knew Penn State was in trouble going to Wisconsin. Drew Allard gets hurt. They have a pick 6 from their defense. The backup quarterback did a really, really nice job. They hung on and they came back and beat Wisconsin. So maybe each of them were looking ahead a little bit, but they're looking each other square in the eye this week. Yeah. And this is the game. Like if you're in Penn State has really given them, especially in the Happy Valley, good games quite often. But man, if you're Penn State,
finish.
Even if you're watching the game and if Penn State would have a lead late, you're like, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Because this is just Ohio State is just their bugaboo. That's their hurdle. Their hurdle they can't get over.
Now, here's a question for you. If Ohio State loses, now they have the loss,
which won't happen. But go ahead.
But if we're playing hypothetical,
let's play hypothetical
because of the playoffs. You got to have the 12-team playoff. I mean, you lose a second game. all of a sudden you are in some danger of not making that playoff.
You are. And as in Alabama, I mean, I'm listening to a show the other day, they're talking about Alabama. Alabama's in serious jeopardy too.
Yep.
Two losses. And kind of get to go back to what we talked about last week. Sometimes, would you be better off not making that championship game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and they've got all kinds of
in.
crazy tiebreakers. So say you sit there and Oregon wins out. Oregon's in the championship game. Penn State loses to Ohio State. So Penn State and Ohio State each have a loss. You've got Indiana, say, and Ohio State beats Indiana. They all have three. They all have a loss.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it. I don't know how the tiebreaker would go, but say it would go to an Indiana.
Yeah.
And they would go to the championship game or Penn State, and they would lose.
And they're out with 2 losses.
Yeah,
are you
better off not being the team in the championship game? And that's going to be a good thing to keep an eye on, because I think you're going to see teams get in if they had the same record as the team in the championship game that lost. Of course, the best thing would be to go make the championship game, beat Oregon, and then get that bye in the first round.
And how about the fly in the ointment? IU,
Indiana,
the Hoosiers,
Stignetti, Kurt. What a job! That's
your
college
coach of the year now.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
you just hand it to him now. All right.
How about the fighting Narduzzi's? They've got SMU this week, and they're in a similar situation on the road.
Yep.
Eli Holstein is going to play. Now, there's some questions to whether or not the SMU quarterback can play.
Yep.
SMU just lost in a dogfight in overtime at Duke the other night. Had 6 turnovers.
Yep.
That would be concerning to me after a team like Pitt just had 3 pick sixes, 6 interceptions overall against Syracuse. Now you're a turnover prone offense. That'll be interesting. Somehow they're, I think, a 7.5 point favorite. SMU is as well.
I think that has more to do with home field than anything else.
It was originally probably because of the uncertainty over Holstein. And I haven't checked today, but I know that's what it was earlier in the week. Same thing there, because you're looking Miami, you're looking Clemson, SMU, and Pitt. Yeah. And everybody's already handing it to Miami and Clemson. Yeah. But Pitt controls their own destiny. If they win this, the next big one is Clemson. So it's gonna be fun to keep an eye out.
If you've got a banged up quarterback, you figure home field is worth 3 points in terms of the gambling stuff. And then you have banged up quarterback. Hey, here's another 3 points. It might be, so we'll have to see. But if SMU's quarterback's banged up, it's going to be an interesting game. That should be a good one. And then Miami, just to mention Miami, Duke, who lost going forward on a 2-point conversion last week in overtime. A lot of people. Duke is the sexy pick this week to knock off. I think everyone's just going to keep picking against Miami just until they get knocked off.
Now, is that game at Duke?
No, sir.
Oh, it's at Miami.
It's at Miami at 7:00 at night.
Okay. Now,
and they're going against Manny.
That's the thing. The whole Manny.
There's motivation.
The Manny Diaz motivation, I think, is huge in that one.
Let me make sure.
You getting a phone call there?
No, I'm making sure it's in Miami. It is. Jordan already knows. That's why she's so good.
I want to throw out a shout out to my man Pat Stewart.
All right.
He played tight end, defensive end at Indian Creek back in the day, who now works for the New England Patriots. And they play in Tennessee this weekend. And he says, I can assure you, Chad Brinker and I will be talking OVAC football before the game. Yeah. And Pat sent us a great note this morning. He works for the New England Patriots, and he watches us on Sports Friday on the Go.
All right.
Every week. And he asked, he goes, are you guys going to be on this week?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why we're telling people we are going to be on.
Yeah, and if we don't have live cut-ins, again, we're going to be able to get video back from a number of the games and put those video clips in, so you'll be able to see highlights. We'll talk about those games. Then, of course, Sports Friday will have all the highlights. So I'll tell you what.
And all the scores in the ticker, too. You're going to be able to keep up with all the Ohio playoff scores on our ticker.
Yeah. And if he's living up in the Foxborough area, Massachusetts, being a New Englander myself, beautiful time of year to be up in New England with all the foliage changing and everything else. I saw some great foliage this past weekend. I'm on 78 coming from Woodsfield out to Route 7. Gorgeous foliage. Just this is where we're going to end it, I guess. We're going to go with foliage. And Don,
it's apple cider time.
I know you're big into horse racing. I know you love the ponies.
I love the ponies.
You love the ponies. So we're going to remind everybody, and this is how we're going to wrap this up, because we got to get going. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, you got a pony show this week.
It
aired live, right?
Yeah, it aired live, so people will be able to check it out. Buckeyes offense better show up. They didn't look good against Nebraska. That's from Brian. You are correct, Brian. Chad Brinker is married to my cousin.
All right.
How about that? All right, Brian. Didn't know that. And Ralph checking in, and he says, roll Pats.
Chad's mom, Debbie, was so nice to me back in the day when I was covering Chad. Chad was fun to watch in track.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You know,
he was
Chad Younger was actually a pretty doggone good baseball player, but track was more important for football for him. And he's probably the best Marcus Terry tailback I've seen. We got a couple good ones this year. Chad was a legend. And then he played at OU.
Yeah, he's in the top of that conversation. He's right there. I mean, I'm not sure who you're going to put ahead of him. But, yeah, he was outstanding. All right, so just want to remind everybody, if you're looking for horse races, so now Sports Friday on the go. Join us about 10 of 7 on Friday. You can get us on the WTOV9 app. You get them on WTOV9.com and on the YouTube channel. Then on we have Sports Friday, the regular Sports Friday on Fox 9 and on Channel 9 on Friday night. Saturday, Ohio State.
And we're the irregular Sports Friday.
Yes, we are. And we have Penn State, Ohio State at noon, a kickoff there for just a great college football game. And then, of course, we have the Breeders' Cup. Now, if you want to watch the Breeders' Cup Friday, because it's 2 days worth of action, 5 races on Friday, you can find that on USA Network between 4 and 8 in the evening on Friday. Saturday starts at 2 o'clock on USA Network, 3:30 switch over to WTOV9, and that's the Breeders' Cup. We'll have the Breeders' Cup Classic, 9 races in all, and then it's back to the USA Network after the Breeders' Cup Classic. So lots to go with sports all over the place.
Billy.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Duke Miami is at noon.
No, it's not. Is it?
It's at noon, buddy.
Where?
That's a difference maker. It's at Miami.
Yeah, that's no good.
Okay.
That's trouble.
Halloween, me 6 years ago.
Yeah.
That's sitting in a hot tub with a witch's hat on. Very nice.
Yes.
Boy, people.
Coach Rudy Ferry, absolute legend. That's right.
Matt
Zach
Moe
Rooney
says
down at Wheeling.
Free nachos for Dawn, December 3rd at the Central Edison basketball doubleheader. I'm there. All right.
That's it. That's all you needed. That's it. Nachos. It's done.
We're prepping.
All right. Jordan says Jordan's looking over. So we got to wrap it up. So we better wrap it up. You gonna say goodbye to the people, Don?
I was just double checking on something here. Go ahead.
All right.
Continue.
Well, I'm just waiting on what you're double checking. I want to see what you're double checking.
Let's see.
College basketball starts November 4th. Just threw it out there. I saw a bunch of basketball commercials the other day. So, Don, you find anything yet?
We're good. I think I'm right there. The Penn State show is at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. and then 9 a.m. is the big noon kickoff. So I am right, and Bill was wrong.
That is one of the.
Bill doesn't read the emails when I send them out.
That's not.
I remember writing that email.
That's not true. There's so many of them we have that it's overwhelming sometimes.
Most of them are positive and uplifting and telling you what a great job you've done.
Thank you very much.
Say goodbye, Bill.
Goodbye, Bill. Oh, goodbye, everybody. We'll see you. Oh, remember, we can't go yet. You can't go yet. 2 rules. Have fun and always try your best.
Where can they see this horse racing thing? Right here. They can. Oh, yeah. So when you're done here, just do another side click over, whatever you would do here in the YouTube channel, and check out
or on our Facebook page.
Yeah. Bill's
because you've had people come up to you
off to the races.
Yeah, off the races. Say, hey, off the races, love it. So there's going to be plenty of information. Give you some favorites if you want to put some skin in the game, a little wager here and there. You'll be able to do that. And Mark Patterson, the expert from Mountaineer, their racing analyst, Mountaineer Racetrack, Casino, and Gaming Resort.
And we're just starting. Wait till you get ready for the Kentucky Derby next spring.
Oh, you know what I'm looking forward to? Beginning of the year, you start to have the Florida Derby, Alabama. You have all these races leading up to it, which before I kind of maybe pay
off to the races may eclipse this. You've been coming. You're a YouTube sensation. Think about this. You've got the Bills 9-minute Phill-Up, your own show. You've got Off to the Races, your own show. You're a partner on my show, the Sports Friday on the Go. Okay. So you are like a YouTube legend.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you what.
And there's always going to be a lead dog and a side dog. I should
retire from doing the news and just do this.
Say goodbye, Bill.
Goodbye, Don.